Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you are here tonight. My name is Dylan Stafford. I represent a committee that you will be introduced to in just a moment. And tonight, we're just really thrilled. We have new students from 10 different UCLA graduate programs participating tonight. This is a cross-campus interdisciplinary effort. And we're just really thrilled that you are spending some time with us tonight. So thank you and welcome to UCLA. UCLA is a very special place, and it will forever be part of your professional reputation as you earn your next degree here. And we tonight, faculty, staff, administrators, leaders of the school, this is what we give our life to, is creating the safe and nurturing environment where people get to pursue their dreams and be their best version of themselves they can possibly be. And tonight we're going to talk about the power of integrity. And this is a conversation that will give you something to think about in the months leading up to the launch of your graduate program. And hopefully, help aim you at the highest aspiration that you can bring possibly to UCLA in any of the programs here tonight: medicine, dentistry, nursing, social welfare, public health, engineering, financial engineering, executive MBA, fully employed MBA, theater, film, and television. All 10 of the programs represented tonight. You are trusting UCLA with your future, and we want to earn your trust and meet your expectations and then exceed your expectations quite a lot. So we're just thrilled that you're here. So with no further ado, I wanted to welcome the committee members. We have lots of people with big, crazy lives with children and every other kind of thing. So not everyone on the committee gets to be here tonight, but some of the representatives of our cross-campus team are definitely here. So I'll just kind of start on the top left. And Elisa, would you like to welcome people from your side of campus tonight?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dylan. It is such a pleasure to be here this evening. Welcome to everyone that's able to join us. We are thrilled that you'll be joining the UCLA community. Some of you already have, but you'll be coming to campus and joining us online coming up. Again, my name is Elisa Lopez, and a warm welcome from the David Geffen School of Medicine.
Thank you, Elisa. We're thrilled to have the partnership with your school. Let's see, I'm not sure if Elisa Turkowitz is here. If not, Liana, would you like to say hello from MFE?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Hello, everyone. My name is Liana Cortez, and I am the Associate Director of the MFE program. And for those of you that are entering MFE this fall, welcome, and everyone else, welcome as well. It's going to be such an exciting year, and we're just so pleased that you're all here tonight.
Thank you, Liana. And I'm not sure if Anna got to be here representing theater, film, and television. Theater, film, and television and engineering are our two new programs this year. We're really happy to have you here. Is Shauna here?
I am.
Oh, yay, there's Shauna. Dana, excuse me.
I'm Shanna Revanner. I am the Assistant Director for the MS Engineering Online program for the School of Engineering. This is our very first year participating in the Leadership Lab, so I am very thrilled about this. So special shout out to our engineering students that are here. Hello. And yeah, let's do it.
Thank you so much for the partnership. We are thrilled to have you here, and you know, you guys are #1 program and quite the trendsetter. So, and everyone, just we appreciate if you. I'm going to throw it in the chat too. If you'd like to put your first name, last name, your program, and maybe what city you're calling in from tonight, because I think it might be fun for people to get a sense of the global reach. So, okay, Shanna, thank you so much for joining. And Liz Izquierdo, Dr. Izquierdo.
Oh, thank you, Dylan, and welcome, and so honored to welcome you tonight. A special shout out to our nursing students and congratulations to everyone as you begin your journey here at UCLA. And welcome to the UCLA Bruin family. I'm Liz Izquierdo. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the UCLA School of Nursing. And I want to invite you to take advantage of this unique opportunity this evening of being in the presence of colleagues across so many disciplines across UCLA. And very rarely do we get this opportunity to spend time with each other, to get to know one another. And as you embark on your new career as a graduate student here at UCLA, the jewels that will be dropped this evening are so important, and special thanks to Khush and Dylan for putting all this together. So excited for all of you and just what awaits. So welcome to UCLA.
Thank you, Liz. Oh, this is so fun seeing all the names in the chat. I did not give clear instructions. I meant to rename yourself in Zoom, but this is awesome. I love it. I love it. Oh my God, people are all over the world. This is so fun. Okay, thank you. And if you wanted to also, if I could be more clear, if you could include that same information on your profile, it will help us set up the breakout rooms. So thank you, Liz. Julianne Jose Chen is Assistant Dean from the Fielding School of Public Health. I think she sent her regrets with the timing of her family tonight. So, and then is Oliver here from Social Welfare and Public Affairs? And let's see, is anyone here from Executive MBA? Shannon or Christina?
I am here. It's Debbie.
Debbie, even
Everyone. Yeah, hi, I'm Debbie Quigley. Welcome. And it is so much fun to see all the names and places and programs represented tonight. I see a lot of familiar EMBA names out there, and just wanted to welcome everybody to this evening's event. And this is my first event, Dylan. So thanks for having us, and Shannon and Christina send their best also.
Well, and Debbie, we're thrilled to have you on the team. We stole Debbie from Pepperdine, another fine university, and we're grateful to have wooed you over to Westwood. Thank you.
Yeah, Anderson all the way.
And is Dr. Lee here from Dentistry, or Noemi Benitez? Okay. And then lastly, myself, Dylan Stafford. So I'm the Assistant Dean with the Fully Employed MBA program. So hopefully all 10 programs represented here tonight, everybody's made to feel welcome. I have one more slide. This doesn't even include everyone, but some other friends, Sarika, Mark Coven from nursing, Christina just mentioned from EMBA, and Debbie, yourself too, Liana, who already spoke. Vartan is a new senior admission officer on my team, and Vartan will be running the breakout rooms tonight. So thanks to all of you, and Jeff and everybody else, Debbie, who's here tonight, I don't have your photo. And then I wanted to thank my boss, Gonzalo Freixas, is the Associate Dean of the Executive MBA, the Fully Employed MBA, and our National University of Singapore Joint MBA. And he is really a patron and has really supported my partnership with Dr. Cooper since 2016. And so last but not least, your presenters tonight, myself and Dr. Cooper. Dr. Khush Cooper is an adjunct professor at the Luskin School of Public Affairs. She is the lead faculty of the Being a Leader in the Effective Exercise of Leadership, an Ontological Phenomenological Model, the course from which we will pull the power of integrity conversation tonight that we're going to guide you through. And Khush came up through UCLA, earned her PhD in social work here, and is one of those rare examples of a person who actually stays after their PhD and gets to form their career. She has her own company, a consultancy that specializes in disadvantaged youth, foster youth and foster care, LGBTQ youth, and she is a fierce voice. She's a black belt in life, in my opinion. She's my sister from another mister. I had the honor of taking her course back in 2016 and got to have this integrity conversation that we'll have tonight, and the authenticity conversation that we will have on June 6th. And it really was a shot in the pants for me. I've written my second book and launched a podcast, and just had an incredible 7 years of a really revitalized chapter in my career at UCLA. And now I am a co-instructor of the course with Dr. Cooper. So Khush, what would you like to say after my long fanfare to welcome everyone tonight?
Well, I'll have to say I've never been called a black belt in life. So thank you for that. And just Oliver wasn't able to make it today. I want to do a special shout out to my social welfare new admits. I have been in the UCLA public affairs building in some way, shape, or form since 1998. I got my MSW and my PhD here. And there will hopefully there'll be a gravestone in the sculpture garden when I'm gone. So special shout out to social welfare, and I think we should get right to it, Dylan.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so moving forward.
All right, so as Dylan said, these slides that you're about to see come from a course called Being a Leader and the Effective Exercise of Leadership, an Ontological Phenomenological Model. As you can see, the dates there are from last summer. We will do it again this summer in August of 2023, and you can find me or Dylan and we could tell you all about it if you're interested. A word on the ontological phenomenological, because that's a bit of a mouthful. So ontology is the study of being. And this course is about being a leader, not knowing how to be a leader. Those are two very distinct things, right? So that's why we use the word ontological. And phenomenological we use to convey that it is the study of the being of leadership as lived in the moment on the court. So it's a phenomenon rather than a concept. Right? So that's ontological phenomenological. And the slides form, there's 800 slides, 900 slides that make up, you can go to the next slide, Dylan, the slide deck textbook. These are the authors of the slide deck textbook. And how the course works is very much on a Zoom meeting like this. We fire up the slides. Dylan will read them, right? And we invite you to read silently along with him. We found that this methodology makes it most accessible to all. And actually, when you see and hear the text at the same time, it has an impact greater than one alone. And just like an author you've heard the audiobooks where the author's narrating their own book, and there's a richness that author is able to convey because they know what each piece of punctuation is intended to do, what each word is intended to do, where the emphasis is supposed to be placed. And Dylan is trained to do just that. He's probably one of 10 people in the world that can do this. So I just want to, not a traditional way of doing courses. So I just wanted to give you a preview of that. And I teach the course along with my two guest instructors, two of whom are authors of the course. So this course is provided in universities, about 55 universities across the globe at current count, but we are the only university where we have two of the authors come guest lecture with us in the summer. So today we're going to talk about integrity. These are all the sections of the course, and it's divided into a foundation. So we're going to talk about one of the 4 foundational factors that undergird leadership, we assert, integrity. Once, kind of like a house in the course, once you build a foundation based on these 4 foundational factors, then we build on top of that foundation a house, so to speak, or a new context for leader and leadership. And then the 3rd section of the course, in case you're curious about what it says on the slide, we deal with the constraints one have, or what is in one's way of being a leader and exercising leadership effectively as one's natural self-expression, right? So not mimicking leadership like we think leadership should be, or our favorite boss used to do it, or Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King does it. Leadership as your natural self-expression, okay? So integrity is going to be the focus of the conversation today, and authenticity will be the focus of the conversation that we have in part 2 of this leadership lab. All right, Dylan.
The first of the 4 factors that constitute the foundation for leader and leadership. Being a person of integrity, being whole and complete.
Yeah. So what we mean when we say integrity in this context tonight is that being whole and complete as a person, okay? It's not traditionally what comes up for people when one says the word integrity, right? So often when we say, oh, well, tell me what integrity means, folks will say, well, it means honesty, or it means being a good person, or it means being true to yourself, or all sorts of things come up. We don't mean any of those. For tonight, I invite you to put all those conceptualizations of integrity aside. Just bracket them, just put them aside. You can have them back at the end of the session at 7:30. But tonight, for the next 2 hours, just consider that being a person of integrity means being someone who is whole and complete. Go ahead, Dylan.
The law of integrity. The law of integrity states, as integrity, being whole and complete, declines, workability declines. And as workability declines, value, or more generally, the opportunity for performance declines. Thus, the maximization of whatever performance measure you choose requires integrity. Attempting to violate the law of integrity generates painful consequences, just as surely as attempting to violate the law of gravity.
So a couple things here. One, this starts to point to integrity and hold integrity very much like engineers would hold integrity. Right? So is the item whole and complete, in full working condition, sound, unbroken? Okay. So imagine there's a bicycle, right? And one of the spokes doesn't work, right? That wheel no longer has integrity. The wheel of that bicycle no longer has integrity. Okay? So use that as a metaphor for as integrity declines. So as more and more of the spokes on that tire don't work, workability declines. The bike stops working the way it's supposed to, right? The opportunity for performance for that bike declines. Okay, so that's one thing that this slide is pointing to. And the other thing it's pointing to is that integrity, just like gravity, isn't good or bad, right? It's, you know, we don't have an argument with gravity, right? It just is. It is a positive phenomenon. Like one posits something, it just is. It's not a normative phenomenon where there's a continuum and there's good or bad, right? Doesn't mean that if you don't account for it, just like if you don't account for gravity, for example, if you're about to jump out of an airplane, right, there's gonna be painful consequences, right? But so consider that having integrity or not having integrity is just that. You either have it or you don't. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person. There's no medal coming if you're a person of integrity. However, the consequence is that if to the degree you have integrity, you have workability and an increased opportunity for performance, just like that bicycle. Keep going, Dylan.
Put simply and somewhat overstated, without integrity, nothing works. Think of this as a heuristic. If you or your organization operate in life as though this heuristic is true, performance will increase dramatically. And the impact on performance is huge, 100% to 500%.
Yeah. So without integrity, no thing works. Right? That's the heuristic. And there's a operate in life as though this heuristic is true. None of what Dylan and I are about to say today is the truth. Okay. It's like something to consider. It's like something to try on and go check out for yourself. Okay? Like we say in the course, like trying on a jacket. Okay, we're giving you a jacket to try on. This is not in the world of empirical scientific observation that we're making this assertion. This assertion is being made in a subjective reality, which means don't believe anything I say. Go check it out for yourself. Okay. And it's talking about the impact on performance is huge, 100 to 500%. And Dylan, we got to remind me, we got to put a citation here. But one of the, Mike Jensen was one of the authors of this course. And he still might be the most cited economist in the world. He's an emeritus professor at the Harvard Business School. And Mike has personal experience and data that proves that the impact on performance due to the restoration of integrity is huge.
What is it?
Yeah, so you're not a bicycle. Right? You are a person, right? So Dylan's going to talk about what is integrity for a person.
What is integrity for a person? Integrity for a person is a matter of that person's word, nothing more and nothing less. For a person to have integrity, the word of that person must be, as integrity is defined in the dictionary, whole, complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, in perfect condition. The question is, in the matter of integrity, what constitutes your word?
Yeah. So think of a leader that you admire. Okay. All right. And imagine yourself in that leader's presence, right? When they were leading. Okay. I would assert that when they were leading, they were using some form of language. Most of the time, they were talking. They might be writing, but they were communicating in some way or another, right? So to the degree that your word is, as the dictionary defines it, whole, complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, and in perfect working condition, you have integrity. So integrity for a person is a matter of your word. Nothing more, nothing less. Let that sink in. And then Dylan's going to take us, okay, so if it's a matter of my word, well, what do you mean by word?
Integrity, your word defined.
So there's 6 aspects of these. There's 6 aspects of your word, right? The first one is the one we think constitutes all of it. right? What you said you would do. Well, okay, that's my word. I said I would do it. I made a promise. Okay, that's not the whole story. Go ahead, Dylan.
Number one, what you said you would do. Number two, what you know to do. Number three, what is expected of you. Unexpressed requests of you by all those with whom you wish to have a workable relationship. Number four, what you say is so. Number five, what you say you stand for. Number six, moral, ethical, and legal standards.
And Dylan's going to talk to you about each one of these as we go. And, just as you've noticed, I interrupt Dylan from time to time, right? That's part of the design. It's kind of like jazz. All right.
Number one, what you said. Whatever you said you will do or will not do, and in the case of doing it on time. Note, requests of you become your word unless you have responded to them in a timely fashion.
Yeah. So, like those emails that come to you with requests in them that haven't been answered. Those are a matter of your word unless you've responded in a timely fashion or declared that you aren't going to respond to them in a timely fashion. Go ahead, Don.
Number two, what you know. Whatever you know to do or know not to do, and if it is doing it as you know it is meant to be done and doing it on time, unless you have explicitly said to the contrary.
Yeah. So I used to do this thing where when somebody said the end of the day, right? I know they meant 5 o'clock. They meant close of business. Right? But I would make up, right? That, well, perhaps it's 11:59 p.m. Right? And so it's what you know to do. Also a matter of your word. Go ahead, Dylan.
Number three, what is expected? Unexpressed requests of you. Whatever you are expected or requested to do or not do by anyone with whom you desire to have a workable relationship, even when not explicitly expressed. And in the case of doing it on time, unless you have explicitly said to the contrary. Note, what you expect of others is not for you, their word. With others, you must change your unexpressed requests into explicit requests.
Yeah. Every request you have received is your word unless you have otherwise said or explicitly declined. And what seems even less fair about this is that it's asymmetrical. That it doesn't work the same way in reverse. If someone has an expectation of you, if you have an expectation of others, right, you've got to make your requests explicit, yet their implicit requests are part of your word. Keep going, Dylan.
Number four, what you say is so. Whenever you have given your word to others as to the existence of something or some state of the world, your word includes being willing to be held accountable that the others would find your evidence makes what you have asserted valid for themselves.
Yeah. So if I tell you that between 20 and 60% of homeless youth identify as LGBTQ plus, you should be able to go look that up and verify it. Me saying that is a matter of my word.
Number 5, standing for something. What you stand for, that is what you say that your life is about, and for what you can unquestionably be counted on, whether expressed in the form of a declaration made to one or more people, or even to yourself, as well as what you allow people to believe that you stand for, is a part of your word.
Yeah. So if you say that you're a stand for peace, then I should be able to count on you to be peaceful in all arenas of your life, not just at work. You are out of integrity if you say you stand for peace, but then pick fights with your loved ones at home.
Number 6, moral, ethical, and legal standards. The moral, ethical, and legal standards, which you have not explicitly declined, are a part of your word.
So these are the moral, ethical, and legal standards of groups in which you enjoy membership. So when something I like to share here is that many of you have a driver's license. And when you signed for that driver's license, you signed that you would abide by every law in that manual. So that means not speeding. So let's stop here for a second, Dylan. Because, if you're anything like me, by the time we got to number 6 on that list, I started to become wholly uncomfortable. Going, what? That's part of my word. That's part of my word. That's part of my word. So, any yeah buts, how abouts, what ifs? Any questions? Do you accept that that's all a matter of your word? How's that land? We have a no. With the person, Adrian, do you, that's great. There's in the chat. Have politicians ever taken this course? Well, so we're going to look at that.
Yeah, maybe someone could, if you could raise your digital hand, it will help us because you'll come up on the screen.
And you don't have to. We just didn't. Yeah,
it's an invitation.
No. Well, we're gonna get into, well, how come if these things are all, everybody says they have integrity, and then you turn on the TV or you read the newspaper and all that I can see is folks not adhering to any of that. Okay. Now, that is all accurate, right? There's enough out integrity in the world for us to identify, but I invite you to look for yourself, like look in your lives, right? Where do you violate the moral, ethical, and legal standards of the groups in which you wish to enjoy membership? Okay, let's see. I'm taking the chat. What drives someone to love their integrity? Well, I wonder. So yeah, why would one bother? Right, is what I'm getting from that question. What would drive somebody to actually care about their integrity? Well, what I'm saying is just like that bicycle wheel, right? As your integrity declines, the workability in your life declines, and your opportunity for performance declines, right? Now the bike's gonna go with a spoke missing, right? It's not gonna be pretty. You take another spoke, right? It's gonna be even worse, and take more spokes, and then the bike may not go at all, all right? One of the things that we'll cover later is we fail to see that some of the messes in our lives and in our organizations are a function of out integrity. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely raise your hand, especially if I've said something where like, whoa, 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 can't go on. Need to get this straightened out.
What is it like to be whole and complete as a person? Perhaps the most important aspect of being out of integrity is the loss of yourself. In a very real sense, you are your word. When you honor your word to yourself and others, you are at peace with yourself and therefore act from a place where you are at peace with others and the world, even those who disagree with or might threaten you. You live without fear for your selfhood. That is who you are as a person. There is no fear of losing the admiration of others. You do not have to be right. You act with humility. Everything or anything that someone else might say to you is okay for consideration. There is no need to defend or explain yourself or rationalize yourself. You are able to learn. This way of being is often mistaken for mere self-confidence, rather than the true courage that comes from being whole and complete. That is, comes from being a person of integrity. This is a critically important element of being a leader.
So if you some of you may remember one of the first slides we had said leadership begins with leading yourself. Right? Turns out you can lead others in life, you can lead in your family, you can lead at work, and you can lead yourself. Why we're having this conversation with you today is that we'd like for you to be able to lean on some of these distinctions to lead yourself to the best year of grad school ever, right? If you can't get yourself to the gym at 6:30 a.m., what makes you think you'll be able to lead others? So that's why tonight we're focusing on your integrity. All right, so let's see, where are we doing? Okay, so the question I have, especially after getting to all these aspects of Word, is, wait, so I'm gonna have to keep all 6 aspects of Word at all times to be a person of integrity? Might as well give up now. Right? That's impossible. Okay, so perhaps integrity isn't keeping your word. Go ahead, Dylan.
Integrity is honoring your word. And honoring your word is 1, keeping your word and on time, or whenever you will not be keeping your word, just as soon as you become aware that you will not be keeping your word, including not keeping your word on time, saying to everyone impacted.
And I'm going to put a little underline under just as soon as you become aware. Ideally, the second you become aware. Not after the gamble that many of us take, which is, well, it goes something like this for me. Am I going to be late? I don't know. I could make it. Right. Oh, well, when it gets really, really close, like 2 minutes away, and I'm sure I'm not going to be late, maybe then I'll say something. Look, I had a feeling I was going to be late an hour ago. That's when we recommend the following gets communicated to everyone impacted.
A, that you will not be keeping your word, and B, that you will keep that word in the future and by when, or that you won't be keeping that word at all, and C, what you will do to deal with the impact on others of the failure to keep your word or keep it on time.
Yeah. So 2 ways to honor your word. Right? 1, keep it. Right? Now, it may be wholly inappropriate to keep your word sometimes. Right? So you told your best friend you'd be at their birthday party at 4 o'clock on Sunday. You made a promise, right? Maybe it's a sentinel birthday even. And a family member gets in a car accident. Right? In that case, it's likely inappropriate for you to keep your word. Right? So in that case, what we're saying here is when you know you're not going to be going to that birthday party, you call all those impacted or communicate with them in some way and say either I'm not coming or I'm not coming at 4, but I'll make it for dinner at 7. Right? And C is the one that most people skip out. And what you will do to deal with the impact on others of the failure to keep your word or keep it on time. There is always an impact. Right? There is always an impact when we cannot keep our word. Right? It's not good or bad. There's an impact though. So it could sound something like, look, I know this was a big birthday, right? And I know there's going to be an impact that I'm not there. Right? Here's how I'm going to make it up to you, or how can I make it up to you? Right? And most of the time, people are just delighted that you even acknowledged there was an impact. There's very few instances where folks will even say to me when I'm cleaning up, well, I need you to do X or Y. Right? But they might. So let me stop there. Questions? Well, let's see. Oh, I'm going to look at the chat here. Dylan, folks are asking if the presentation is available for download. Will we make a PDF available to folks?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I'm making a recording and I'll send everyone here tonight a copy of the recording tomorrow. And yeah, Khush, if you're the professor of record, if that's good with you, I'm happy to PDF this.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's on my list.
Yes, and we have somebody from engineering saying, oh, I love how this is spelled out. Yep. Engineers have known about integrity for a lot longer than we have, folks. They know the impact when something doesn't have integrity. Right? It's not bad that the metal failed, right? But you want to know if the metal fails before you stick it in a bridge and put, thousands of cars on it. Right? Yeah. Great.
Yeah, and Khush, I would just add, as a husband and a father, I have given my word to be, the person that my wife counts on. And I've given my word to be a participatory, I call it being a participatory father. It's important to me that my children see me every day, not just physically like a lump on the couch watching a basketball game, but that I'm with them. And that's, and sometimes I notice like, oh, the pull is to the couch, and daddy's tired, daddy wants to couch potato, but it's like, who am I to my sons? And who I want to be, who I'm committed to be, who I have given my word to be to my sons is a man who loves his partner, who loves his children, who loves his career. My commitment is to honor what it looks like to live a life you love. And that for me is a matter of my word.
So pop quiz, put in the chat which aspect of word is that Dylan gave to be a participatory father. Give folks a second. All right, you put them up, Dylan. Can you put them up?
How do I, let's see, what do I do?
Go to,
Archon, help me. Okay, yeah, just one
there
second.
you go, slide 13.
There you go.
Oh, put the slides up, excuse me. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, slide 13.
Excuse me, I thought you meant the chat. I misunderstood.
Oh,
Slide
sorry.
13, coming back. There we are.
All right. Which is closest? Yeah, we got it. Alana. Correct. What you say you stand for. Right? Dylan made a declaration that he's going to be a participatory father. That's a stand he takes. So couch potato, out integrity, unless he's going to be a couch potato and explicitly state that he is not going to keep that word today. And a lot of folks are saying 3 and 4, so let's look. So now this is interesting. Like there's the argument you're making is that, well, being a participatory father is what's expected, right? I don't know, right? We could say in our conventional culture, it might be, right? But I'm not sure. And then 4, what you say is so it's not quite what he says is so, because we can't, we could go like, I'll actually buy that argument. I'm smelling what you're cooking, because we could go and verify. We could go and verify with his children, right? If Dylan is indeed like being what he gave his word to being. Very good, right? And like I said, none of this is the truth, right? But it's a powerful place to look from, we have found. All right, Dylan, sorry for throwing that curveball. Now you got to go all the way forward again.
But I know the trick.
All right. So we are at 20.
I'm sorry, we're at 20?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're not. We're at 19.
Honoring your word. Remember, honoring your word when you are not going to keep your word means that as soon as you know you will not be or may not be keeping your word, you let those impacted know and clean up any mess left for yourself and others. In fact, to empower and enable yourself as a leader, you will have to be rigorous in honoring your word with yourself, with those you lead, and with those who lead you. So this is an opportunity for you to practice being a leader. That is, being a person of integrity. And remember, integrity is one of the 4 factors of the foundation for leadership.
Yeah. And we're going to give you an opportunity to try this, between now and our next lab. right? We will give you the opportunity to practice being a person of integrity. All right. Go ahead, Dylan.
Cost benefit analysis on giving your word. The time to do a cost benefit analysis is when you are considering giving your word. Before giving your word, it is wise to weigh the benefits of giving your word against the cost of honoring that word. When you give your word, you are in effect saying, I will make that happen. Cost benefit analysis on keeping your word and on honoring your word. When it comes time to keep your word, there will also be instances when doing a cost benefit analysis is appropriate. However, it is never appropriate to do a cost benefit analysis on honoring your word. Once you have given your word, if you are to be a person of integrity, you have no choice but to honor your word, exactly as we have distinguished honoring your word. After you have given your word, doing a cost benefit analysis on honoring your word demonstrates that you are untrustworthy and guarantees that you will not be a person of integrity.
Yeah. So we recommend doing we highly recommend doing a cost benefit analysis before giving your word, right? So I'll call you or we'll do lunch, right? Before you say that, right? Do a cost benefit analysis on what it's going to take to call or do lunch by a certain time. We also recommend that if once you've given your word, if you're not going to, you have to look at, just like the friend's birthday party and the car accident, right? You're going to have to do a cost benefit analysis on keeping that word. Right? But we don't recommend, if you are going to be a person of integrity the way we're talking about it, doing a cost benefit analysis on honoring your word. We recommend holding it like you don't have a choice to honor your word, which means make a new promise, say you're not going to do it at all, and offer to clean up the impact. There's a question in the chat, Dylan. Can burnout affect integrity? If so, how can we keep it from affecting it? Jeff, raise your, do you feel like saying just a little bit more? I know you'd be the first person to talk in this group of 97.
Sure thing. Happy
All
to.
right. Great. Where are you? Can we spot?
Can you raise your hand, Jeff?
Yeah, raise your
totally.
hand and I'll find you.
Let's see.
What, you're a disembodied voice.
How do I do this? I'm just
There.
gonna.
Oh, wait,
see
there
me
you go.
there?
You clapped. You clapped.
clapped.
That works. Okay. There you are. Now
Awesome.
I have you in my eye line. Hi, Jeff.
Great. Hi,
So-
Dr. Cooper.
So now we can have a conversation about this question. However, the most impactful way to have this conversation will be if it's not a hypothetical and we're able to relate it to like you. So do you experience sometimes that when you're burnt out, right, that's when it starts to slip?
Yeah, so I think the pandemic just really shifted my paradigm and my line of work. So I went from going to the office all the time and interacting with others to being at home all the time. And so I feel like, and I've been at my line of work for about 5-6 years now. I've been there as a work study student, transitioned into a full-time job. And so just found myself doing things over and over and over. It hasn't gotten that bad to the point that I don't want to do it, but I would say that it has affected to to a certain degree of, okay, like I have to call this patient, like, do I really want to call them, right? So yeah, just being honest and real here, that I feel like when you're in an environment where maybe there isn't that accountability, it can be very easy to slip into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're probably speaking to many of us here, right? Now, if one place to look would be, all right, so is this a leadership situation? Right? Is the relationship with this person important to me, with this patient important to me? Right? Am I going to need to perform as a leader, right, with this person, right? So if the answer to that is no, right, then the burnout, then, there's no need to be a leader all the time in every situation, right? So that's one place to look is, sure, right? Like if that's not what the goal is, right? Don't call back, right? But it is expected of you, right? It is expected of you. The other place to look, and this is something we go a little bit deeper into the course, so I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, is being burnt out is what's going on with you internally, right? It has no impact, right? What's going on with us internally, right, actually has no impact out in the world, right? The only thing that has an impact is our words and actions, right, as a result of what's going on with us internally. When it comes time to lead, right, if you can distinguish that, okay, I think that's what's going on with me internally here, right, just distinguishing it will loosen its grip. Right? That which, and I think we will say this sentence later, that which is undistinguished runs you. So try it out, right? Again, don't, right? The next time, right? Be like, oh, well, look at that, I'm burnt out, or I'm annoyed, or okay, right? We have feelings, right? We all have them, right? They're kind of like gas. Sometimes they stink and they eventually pass, right? But they're what's going. So try it out, and maybe like if you do see something, come on back and share with us. It's I'm with you. I'm with you, right? Like we're all in this one together. I don't have any integrity medals either. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jeff, very much for the question. And there's a follow-up question. When systems don't support workers to keep their word, how do you manage that? If you're gonna lead, I can probably guarantee you that the systems are not gonna support you to keep your word. They're not, right? There's a way in which one has to be able to manage up, right? So, but again, Sarah, if you could come off mute and kind of give me a little more context to your question, I might be able to answer it a little more accurately. Oh,
yeah. So I just,
great.
From my experience working similar fields like in healthcare, the systems are really not designed to allow people to support, health workers, clinicians in effectively managing sometimes what they say they're going to do.
Hold
and
on.
so how do you
Hold on 1 second? That's not supposed to do that. When
okay.
I say do not disturb, it disturbed.
There's a
I
system.
apologize.
There's a system that's not
Yeah.
supporting you being your word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, managing up is all well and good, but there's also, especially sort of if you're not the highest level of leadership, how do you sort of maneuver that when you really want to keep your word and do what you have said that you're going to do, but there's other factors that sort of hamstring you?
Great. So give me an example from your life, or from, you know, a situation that you've been in.
So like really basic example is, you know, being middle management, you know that your staff, maybe somebody on your staff is not going to get promoted, and you've given, you have, you know, been given by senior leadership, executive leadership reasons why they're not going to promote them, but they've told you you can't share those. You know, you can't then sort of be the open, transparent, supportive supervisor that you have told your staff that you're going to be, that you've, you know, walked around trying to embody, because, you know, somebody higher up is saying, well, that's not information that we can, that we're going to let you share.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So the situation is that there's a promotion, right? There's a promotion about to happen, right? And there, you know, somebody who really wants it isn't going to get it, right? And you have declared yourself to be somebody who's up for transparency and the growth and development of the people that you know you support, and now you're essentially withholding information, right? And you're not really, you're out of integrity with what your stand is, right? So then they hear that they didn't get the promotion, right? Is that then, you know, like that's sort of how this plays out.
Yeah, you know, you have to tell them, sorry, you're not getting promoted, but I'm not at liberty to really divulge all the reasons why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, I've worked in some pretty toxic places, but
yeah. No, but this is really good because it's right. It's the details of these situations that trip us up, right? So, okay, so that's so they have been holding you like you were going to be able to tell them that, but you were incorrect, essentially. Turns out you can't be that kind of boss, right? Because you're in an environment where there are certain things you won't be able to divulge, right? So I wonder about holding yourself out as somebody that would be able to divulge that kind of thing.
well, how does that fit? How does that fit in then with the sort of sixth point around the moral, ethical, and legal standards? And so, okay, here we're talking about some, you know, more ethical components around, or moral components. So there's sort of a fuzzy line there around sort of wanting to be the type of supportive supervisor that's going to help, you know, people that work with them excel and succeed and set them up for success. Yep. And then you're working within a system that doesn't share those values. Yeah. And so how do you, I mean, you know,
yeah, it's, you know, I mean, well, there's quitting, right? There's sharing that you're not going to be able to be somebody who won't divulge the reasons, right? Like, okay, like I get that that's a requirement here, but I'm not going to be able to do that when the time to do that comes, right? There's going to be consequences, right? You might not get to be part of that group. And that happens in leadership situations sometimes. So there's once you weren't able to honor your word, right? Now, of course, you won't give that word again, right? Because now you know the kind of system in which you are expected to manage, right? But the first time, what might there be to say to that person, right? To restore integrity, right? Out-integrities happen. So what might be there to say to that person who you weren't able to divulge it to, right? Look, hey, I held myself out to be somebody who would be open and transparent. And we're in a system where that's actually not appropriate. And, you know, like that had a real impact on you because you expected me to tell you, right? And I didn't. What can I do to clean that up? Like what, like, so that's one way, right? And then they're sharing with the rest of the group that, hey, like if this is an expectation that somehow I revoke, like you can no longer have that expectation of me. Right?
Thanks, that's helpful. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Hey, Khush.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, we promised these folks we were going to let them meet each other.
Would you want to do that now?
How about that? Let's do that.
Okay.
We have a breakout assignment. We are, Vartan has put you into groups of 4. You're randomly assigned. And we'll post this in the chat also, but you could take a quick picture with your phone. If it's hard to remember, we'll post it into the chat when we send you to the breakout rooms, but we're going to give you 15 minutes. There are 4 people. So, you know, about 4 minutes apiece, a little bit less, 3 to 4 minutes. Please make sure everybody gets a turn. You know, if you're kind of shy, this is a chance to take a step forward. If you love to talk, this is a chance to practice listening, but we want everybody to get a chance to meet the other 3 folks in your breakout room. And the assignment is to look. You know, when I honestly look at how I go through life with people I care about, work with, professional, personal, which of the 6 elements of word do I struggle with the most?
And the more concrete you can keep it with, rather than out of hypotheticals, you just get a whole lot more value. But, you know, before you dive into the breakout assignment, I just want to reflect what I think Leanna said earlier. There are very few opportunities as a grad student to meet other grad students outside of your little silo on campus, right? 10 weeks in the quarter is like a sprint, right? Head down, we do our work. So really take this opportunity to meet each other, make some connections also, and perhaps share why you chose UCLA when you introduce yourself. Just a suggestion. All right,
Okay.
Dylan.
Vartan, are we ready?
Yeah, just getting the last couple. Just give me 1 minute and I'll open up the rooms for everybody. Just give me 1 sec, everyone.
8 minutes later, 10 minutes late, right? You still got to clean it up.
I think it was a way for the organization to say, you know what, we hear our employees, they keep being late. Why don't we just change the time when they can come in and not be considered late? However, then the employee then says, oh, okay, then I have another 7 minutes.
Yep. Yep. You just set a new on time is what you did. Okay, so we're going to talk about something almost no one knows. Well, you'll know it here in a moment. The price you pay for a lack of integrity, right? Now, but before we go on, just remember that it's not good to be a person of integrity or bad to not be a person of integrity. And we all have more integrity in certain areas of our lives and less in others, right? The point I'm trying to make is, look, okay, so just like the bicycle might lose its spoke when you didn't answer an email on time, right? Maybe you lose this little part of your finger. Oh, okay, then there's the next out integrity. Okay, you got the whole finger. You can still probably write, still probably type. But as we go through life, these add up. All right. And when it comes time to need the power to make a difference, all right, you cripple yourself, so to speak. Right. And so all there is to do when you're not experiencing sufficient power, right, to make a difference in an area you really care about, right, what there might be to do is go hunt for where you might restore a finger or part of a finger. Right. All right, Dylan, tell us something almost no one knows.
Something almost nobody knows. The price you pay for a lack of integrity. integrity, and performance. As this new model of integrity points out, integrity is the state or condition of being whole, complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, in perfect condition. Such a state is the necessary and sufficient condition for workability, and workability is a necessary condition for performance. As a result, it becomes clear that integrity determines the opportunity set for performance. Yet one only needs to read the newspaper to be clear about the almost universal lack of integrity.
Yeah, somebody made the comment early in the chat about, yeah, we'll have politicians taking this course, right? Those are folks we hold as saying one thing and doing another.
How can
ahead.
this be? The answer is the fact that integrity determines one's opportunity for performance is concealed by what, drawing from Rawls, we term the veil of invisibility. There are 11 factors that contribute to this veil of invisibility. The veil of invisibility. For example, one of the factors contributing to this veil of invisibility is self-deception. A self-deception that leads almost all of us to believe that we are persons of integrity. If you take your integrity for granted, even with this and that instance to prove it, you are virtually guaranteed to be out of integrity.
Go on.
Costs of lack of integrity and the veil of invisibility. Almost all people and organizations fail to see the costs imposed by attempts to behave in ways that are inconsistent with the law of integrity.
So why do we think that is? Right? Why do we think that we fail to see the costs or prevent ourselves even from seeing the costs of being inconsistent with the law of integrity? So there are some folks that are more tuned in, do see the cost. Tuned into where, hey, Dennis, where are you?
I'm right here.
Oh, hey. So tuned into what do you think?
Tuned into the principles that you're just talking of integrity in general. If you're more aware of, the faults and all of those things that you're talking about, when you come across someone that's operating less than, it's very apparent what the cost is.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we always say is people don't quit jobs, they quit bad leaders or bad managers. I think that is the telling statement.
Yeah, they quit folks that are lacking integrity over and over and over and over. Yeah, good. Yeah, so there's if you think something is, if you're a bad person, this is the collapse with morality, right? If you collapse integrity with being a good person, and we're almost guaranteed to be out of integrity in some way, shape, or form, right? We proceed to hide. We proceed to hide because, oh no, I didn't answer an email. Oh no, I didn't get that thing done on time. Oh no, I didn't call my mom back. Oh, right. And that collapse has us lose the very opportunity to restore integrity. So consider, right, that integrity is not the same thing as morality. It's not good to be a person of integrity. It's not bad to be a person that doesn't have integrity. We're all going to be out of integrity from time to time in life, right? If we collapse it with morality, you lose the opportunity. You start to hide. Anybody does. We begin to act like criminals, right? And we then lose our opportunity to restore integrity. Go ahead, Dylan.
The unworkability generated by the lack of integrity occurs to people and organizations as the consequence of something other than attempts to violate the law of integrity. For most of us, the unworkability and confusion, that is, the mess in our lives, is just the way life is, like water to the fish or air to the birds. Most people rationalize or explain the mess in their organizations and in their lives without getting to the out of integrity behavior that is the actual source of the mess. This state of affairs is an example of you cannot manage what is undistinguished. Therefore, it will run you. The integrity performance paradox. People and organizations, while committed to performance, systematically sacrifice integrity in the name of increasing performance and thereby reduce performance. How can this occur?
It's crazy. Right? Go ahead.
If operating with integrity is so productive, why do people systematically sacrifice their integrity and suffer the consequences? And why are they blind to these effects?
So Dylan's going to put up a slide where we show you the 11 factors that we've observed, right, that contribute to this veil of invisibility. Okay, I'll walk through each of them, but we're only going to go through 2 of them in depth. All right, we will have an opportunity to discuss more of this when you come back next time. All right, Dylan, let's see it.
Would you like me to read them all?
Yes.
The factors contributing to the veil. 1, not seeing that who you are as a person is your word. 2, living as if my word is only word 1, what I said, and word 4, what I assert is true. 3, integrity is a virtue.
And that one is like holding integrity like a virtue, like okay, it's nice to have, right? I'll do it when, it works. Or when, like, I have the luxury of being in integrity, not like, oh my God, it's a factor of my performance.
4, self-deception about being out of integrity. 5,
That's the morality thing. We're going to go hide now. No, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. Yeah, go ahead.
5, integrity is keeping one's word. 6, fear of acknowledging you are not going to keep your word. 7, integrity is not seen as a factor of production. 8, not doing cost-benefit analysis on giving one's word. 9, doing cost-benefit analysis on honoring one's word. 10, integrity is a mountain with no top.
We're going to go into that one in a moment.
11, not having your word in existence when it comes time to keep your word.
Yeah. So holding integrity in these ways, right, contribute to the veil of invisibility that hides that the performance issues you're observing are actually a function of integrity. All right, Dylan, what's this mountain with no top business?
Factors that contribute to the veil of invisibility. 10, integrity is a mountain with no top. People systematically believe that they are in integrity, or if by chance they are at the moment aware of being out of integrity, they believe that they will soon get back into integrity.
Yeah, great. I'm going to get back in integrity. I'm going to stay there. All right, I did it.
Tomorrow I'll answer all my email. Yeah.
Yep.
I say that every day. In fact, integrity is a mountain with no top. However, the combination of 1, generally not seeing our own out of integrity behavior, 2, believing that we are persons of integrity, and 3, even when we get a glimpse of our own out of integrity behavior, assuaging ourselves with the notion that we will soon restore ourselves to being a person of integrity keeps us from seeing that, in fact, integrity is a mountain with no top. To be a person of integrity requires that we recognize this and learn to enjoy the climbing.
Yeah. So, Jeff, when Jeff brought up, when I'm not burned out, right? When I'm not burned out, I'll be able to be back in integrity. Or when when I work in a better system, right? The integrity will arrive.
In order to always be in integrity, one would have to be in integrity with respect to every instance of words 1 through 6 at every moment in time. What you said, what you know to do or not do, what is expected of you, what you say is so, what you stand for, moral, ethical, and legal standards.
Yep. So, what we say about that is to be a person of integrity requires that we recognize that integrity is a mountain with no top, right? You just got to learn to love the climb, right? And why bother climbing? Go ahead, Dylan.
Knowing that integrity is a mountain with no top and being joyfully engaged in the climb leaves us as individuals with power and leaves us known by others as authentic and as persons of integrity.
Yeah, and by power here, we don't mean the domination kind. We mean the achieving results with velocity kind.
Yeah, the kind of power to get through grad school at UCLA.
Yeah.
Knowing that we will never get there also opens us up to tolerance of and an ability to see and deal productively with our own out of integrity behavior, as well as that of others. Why bother climbing? You cannot be in integrity all the time unless you reduce your promises to almost nothing, like just waking up in the morning.
Yeah, and that's not what our life is for, right? That's not why you're sitting here about to embark in grad school, right? You're making some big promises. You're about to up your game. Your integrity is gonna go out. I can pretty much guarantee that the structures you had to have integrity before aren't gonna work. Doesn't mean you stop making promises. Keep going.
People may ask, why should I bother climbing a mountain that has no top? Climbing the mountain is what allows for integrity, and integrity creates workability.
Not to mention, the view's a whole lot better the higher you go. Go ahead, Dylan.
Thus, we had better enjoy climbing because this is a mountain with no top. Notice that every time we put something into integrity in our lives or organizations, workability and the opportunity for performance increase. The effect is huge, and yet we will never get it all done. Therefore, we better learn to enjoy climbing.
All right, so just give up that you're ever going to arrive at this place of perfect integrity, right? Just restore, 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 restore. All right, so that's one of the veils, the factors that contribute to the veil of invisibility. And here's probably one that's had the most impact on my life. Number 11.
Factors that contribute to the veil of invisibility. 11, not having your word in existence when it comes time to keep your word. A major source of people saying talk is cheap is that when it comes time for most people to keep their word exists in a place that does not give them a reliable opportunity for keeping their word and on time. Most people have never given any thought to where their word went after they closed their mouth. That is to say, where their word is when it comes time for them to keep their word. This is a major source of out of integrity behavior for individuals, groups, and organizations.
Yeah, so they think where to go, right? Like where you said you get made a promise. Where is it? Some people say, well, it's in my brain. It's not in your brain. If I unscrewed your head and looked in your brain, they're not there, right? Where is it? It's gone. Conversations disappear. Go ahead.
If you don't have an extraordinarily powerful answer to the question, where is my word when it comes time for me to keep my word? You can forget about being a person of integrity, much less a leader, and realizing a creative future. In order to realize the creative future, you will need a way to keep the word you gave regarding the created future in existence. What is the first step, the next action you are going to take after you have given your word? By when will you take this first step, the next action? Create a specific time on a specific day in which to do it. Ensure the specific time on the specific day exists for you in such a way that you will reliably take that first step.
If you're gonna, at this level in your career, rely on memory, you might as well give up now. And if you are making a promise without looking in your calendar of occasions to see where there's a moment where you can actually fulfill on that promise, you're pretty much guaranteed to be out of integrity.
At Anderson, Khush, we were very proud. We were one of the only 2 top 20 MBA programs on the globe that had a female dean. And we had a female dean, Judy Olian, for 13 years, and Liana can attest to this. She had a little brown leatherette folder, or no, it wasn't leatherette. She was a classy lady. I'm sure it was very nice leather. And she took that to every single meeting. And if she opened up that folder and started writing something down, the whole room just got really, because if someone said, I'm going to do X by Y, she would write it down. That was her existence structure. And she managed one of the top graduate programs on the planet because that was her existence structure.
Yeah.
So it wasn't only her word she managed, she also managed the word of the leaders that she was accountable for.
Yeah. It was in existence. Yeah.
A picture of integrity. What would your life be like? And what would your performance be if it were true that you have done what you said you would do and you did it on time? You have done what you know to do and you did it the way it was meant to be done and you did it on time. You have done what others would expect you to do, even if you never said you would do it, and you did it on time, or you have informed them that you will not meet their expectations. And you have informed others of your expectations for them and have made explicit requests of those others. And whenever you realized that you were not going to do any of the foregoing or not going to do it on time, you have said so to everyone who might be impacted. And you did so as soon as you realized that you wouldn't be doing it or wouldn't be doing it on time. And if you were going to do it in the future, you have said by when you would do it, and you have dealt with the consequences of your not doing it on time or not doing it at all for all those who are impacted by your not doing it on time or not doing it at all. In a sentence, you have done what you said you would do, or you have said you are not doing it. You have nothing hidden. You are truthful, forthright, straight, and honest. And you have cleaned up any mess you have caused for those depending on your word. And almost unimaginable, What if others operated in this way with you?
Yeah. Imagine what that world might be like. All right,
Okay.
Dylan.
Vartan, how we? We ready?
We are ready.
Okay.
right.
So we're going to attempt to send you to the same groups, we believe.
Yep.
Okay. If by chance there's a one-off, just go with it. This break is much shorter. We're going to give you, what do you say, Khush, 8 minutes?
I'd say, yeah, at max. I think they could do it in 5.
Okay. 5, maybe 6 minutes. We'll give
Yeah.
you a 1-minute warning. One question. Given what you have heard about integrity, what do you notice about how you go through life? Okay. Anything, Khush?
Nope.
Okay.
It's powerful. That which is undistinguished runs you.
All right, I am opening up the
Distinguish it.
rooms.
I missed that, but Subway is really good, and they often have deals on the app or on the website. You get like a BOGO deal.
Another Subway fan like Jackson. Dylan was saying that we're saying the cute things our children say, and apparently Jackson always said Subway Eat Fresh. Instead of I want to go to Subway, he would say I want to go to Subway Eat Fresh.
I just got the end of that, and I heard Subway, and I just had that today for lunch with my coworkers.
And what is it your children say, Khush? I want to go to CLA.
I want to go to CLA. And it's because I realize I always collapse the going, I'm going to UCLA. Like, oh, let's go to CLA.
They don't
Go to UCLA. Well, the first time I took my kids to my office, folks, they went, Mama, you work in a park? I said, yeah, I work in a park. Yeah. All right, I think folks are back, Dylan.
Let's go.
So time is short. We want to get you out of here at 7:30. So we're gonna share about what we saw from our bonus assignment that we're gonna give you as a choice to do between now and the next time. Right. So go ahead and put it up. All right, Dylan, why don't you read it for us, and then I'll say a few words.
Bonus assignment. Between now and June 6. Look in your life for areas that are not working like you want. See where the out integrity might be. Bonus opportunity. Restore integrity in that area. Come back to Leadership Lab number 2 and tell us what happened when you restored integrity to an area of life that is important to you.
Yeah. Now, I don't recommend, starting off with the big one. All right. You might want to practice, right? Practice. If you are going to do the bonus opportunity to actually go ahead and restore integrity, we know you either kept your word in that area, or if you didn't, we gave you what to do. All right. And just check it out, right? Again, it's not the truth. We validate this in your life, right? And see what happens. But at the very least, if you choose not to actually go ahead and restore integrity in that area, at least see if you can distinguish it. So you can see, wow, this area is not quite going the way I want. I might want to bring some leadership to it here, right? Where's the out integrity? Right? At the very least, see if you can suss that out. All right, Dylan, I can hang out for a few minutes if folks have burning questions, but I recommend that you put your questions in existence if you've got to run. right? Put them in the calendar occasion for June 6th. And we'll get to them next time before we get into the power of authenticity, the second foundational factor for being a leader in the effective exercise of leadership.
Yeah, and just to put a commercial in for the power of authenticity, you know, what is it when my head and my heart and my gut, what is it when they're all aligned and then I open my mouth in a leadership situation? Right? Everybody talks about being an authentic leader like a bumper sticker. What is it when I'm actually authentic? And when I practice that through time, what becomes available? So that's part of the conversation next time. A second foundational factor from our course, being a leader in the effective exercise of leadership, the power of authenticity. So, you know, we hope all of you here tonight, plus we're going to have some new admits from both EMBA and FEMBA and probably even some of the other programs with the last rounds closing. So we'd love to see you all again next month, or not, excuse me, 2 weeks from tonight, same time, 5:30 to 7:30, different link, different registration, please. It's this link here. I will put it in the chat if you've not registered already. Let me leave you with that. Where's my chat? You could just register tonight so that it's on your calendar. That is the link for Leadership Lab number 2. June 6th, Tuesday night, 5:30 to 7:30, same footprint as tonight, and then put the bonus assignment back on. So on behalf of all of us on the committee, our cross-campus interdisciplinary team, you know, welcome to UCLA. We're thrilled you're here. Thank you for the thank yous. Thank you for the engagement.
Thank
tonight.
you
All the
very
good
much.
questions. Khush, thank you for your time and your leadership.
It's
We'll hang
my
out for a couple
pleasure.
minutes. Yeah. We declare this evening complete.
Thank you.
See you soon, everybody.